Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half acre homestead with a tea break. And yes, you see me with a handful of tissue. And you might even see me sneeze because I made the mistake of going outside today and where everything's melting and my spring allergies have just gone absolutely apeshit. I'm not panicking. I'm really not. So if you see me sneeze, it's okay. I've taken a Benadryl. And if you see me cough, it's because I medicate with marijuana, folks. So don't panic. And even so, I am on the other end of a camera, not the other end of a room, right? So I want to talk about what's going on in our world right now because there's a lot of people that are making decisions based on fear rather than common sense. No, Gracie, it's not a live stream. And people need to work in solution, not making decisions based on fear. All right. So here's what we know, or what I've heard. The reports are now coming in from China that they've been doing autopsies on the folks that have died. And what is happening is this virus is kind of like a pneumonia, where your lungs get a lot of fluid. But the problem with this form of the flu or virus is that once the phlegm gets into your lungs, it can solidify and harden. And that is what causes the respiratory distress. Do you want a solution for that? Drink, drink, drink. And I'm not talking about pop or bourbon on ice. I'm talking about hot tea, hot sweet tea, hot, clear tea with lemon and honey above all things. Tea, 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 water, 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 pop, pop, pop. Make sure it's hot and drink every 20 minutes. That when you think about it, keep a cup of tea like I do all over the place and constantly be sipping on it, okay? Because I've said it before and I will say it again. If you get any kind of chest congestion, I used to go, I don't want to drink because drinking, I've already got enough fluid in me. No, you don't. When you get congested in your sinuses or in your chest, the thicker the mucus gets, the harder it is for your lungs and your sinuses to dislodge. If you keep your fluid intake up twice as high as normal, yeah, you're going to go to the bathroom a lot, but you're going to stop anything from solidifying in your lungs. Do you understand? This is really important. I'm going to give you an old-time recipe for neocitrin. Hot water, lemon juice, honey, and if you must, crush up an acetaminophen in it or an aspirin. Now listen to me carefully. Do not buy named brand Tylenol or company brand. Buy no name. It has to say just plain acetaminophen, because there's something in the coating or in the Tylenol itself that can actually, what's the problem with the Tylenol? It can make it worse. Use plain acetaminophen or ASA, folks. And for God's sakes, if you've got Buckley's cough syrup, throw a teaspoon of that in there. Okay? Buckley's hot tea with lemon and honey, acetaminophen, not Tylenol or ASA, as long as you know, like you're over 21. Okay? Don't be giving that to children unless you know it's not a common cold or flu. Okay? Because then there's the Rye syndrome. All right? So, now, aside from the drink, 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 okay, there is wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. This will stay in the air for up to a week in, say, your home, but it stays on surfaces now. No, 3 days in the air, it's staying on surfaces alive up to 10 days. Especially metallic surfaces like your, if you have a stainless steel fridge, dishwasher, stove, anything like that, especially around food. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Wash your hands, wipe everything. Carry a cloth around with you, rinse and wipe, rinse and wipe. All right? Keep sanitary. Okay? If, okay, what else do I want to tell you? Oh, okay, let's talk about pantry solutions as well. Okay? For instance, I had 29 cans of tomato soup. And the last time I made Howie a tomato soup and grilled cheese, it tasted a little bit on the tinny side. Now I'm uber sensitive to metals, okay? So I could taste it, Howie couldn't, which means it's time to recan that soup before it's useless. It's not going to last. It's in its last year of the expiry date. It's got 6 months. Wait a second. It's got 9 months left on it, but when it comes to tomato products, I don't trust them. I want them at least a year. So what I'm doing is, I made chicken soup earlier this week. Soup, folks. Keep a pot of broth on at all times. And if you're thinking, you don't want soup, just keep a pot of broth on. Every once in a while, dip your cup in there and start drinking it. Okay? But I made chicken soup, and whatever we didn't eat, I threw into the crock pot. Into the other crock pot with some leftover veg and stuff, and I topped it up and I boiled it and I made broth. And then so I'm canning. I've given the mushy stuff because once you've really cooked the crap out of it in liquid, the nutrients are in the liquid, not the veg. So I gave the rest of the veg and stuff to Gracie. And I put the broth and the 29 cans of tomato soup together. I'm going to boost them with some onions and some celery and some leek broth. And then I'm going to recan them in pint jars. And that way we're canning it to save it, right? I have probably 3 bags of frozen blueberries. They're probably over 3 to 5 years old. They're going to be no good for anything soon because they're going to get freezer dried, right? So I'm going to can them in syrup to save them, right? I have 2 bags or a bag and a bucket of tomatoes in my freezer from last year and that I haven't canned yet, and I have 4 cans of canned tomatoes on the shelf. Well, they're in the can, so I'm going to can them all together and put them in glass. Can it to save it. These are all things. Now it's time to take stock of your pantry and your freezer. And don't be having, no big dinner parties where you think, it's going to be over in a couple of weeks, because it's not. Groceries are not getting short. We're not getting short on groceries because we don't have groceries. We're short on groceries because people are going in and cleaning the shelves before anybody else can get to them. Okay? This is not a time to be selfish. It is time to be selfish with what you have in your home, but not a time to be selfish when there's stuff out there for everybody else that needs it, the people that need it the most. Okay? So Wendy and I have been taking stock. Hey, Win! We're taking stock of the pantry and the freezers, and we're planning. Absolutely. Our mother taught us well, even though she died when I was really young. I have a cottage roll. I'm going to show you in video. I have a cottage roll, pickle cottage roll. They were on sale, so I had Howie pick up 2. And I'm boiling that with the rest of the cabbage from St. Patrick's Day that I didn't use, like the other 2/3 of the cabbage, and an onion and some potatoes. Now, when that's all done, we're just going to have this like boiled ham and cabbage and potatoes and the onion and everything. But I'm going to save the broth. Why? Because it's ham broth. Guess what that's going to make? Pea soup. Oh, Wendy, can you have pea soup? Can you have pea soup? Split pea soup?
I'm not being very picky about anything right now.
Here she comes. It's Ginga. It's Grandma and Ginga.
What's that you said?
I said, shut up, I'm talking. That's how we kiss and hug. So I'm not throwing the bra. So I'm going to be doing a series this week on making do with what's in your pantry and freezer. And we're going to be preaching the gospel of the clean plate, can it to save it, okay? And leftover makeover meals. That's what's going to be coming because we're okay, but we're going to act now as if this is World War II and it's time to start bringing out the ration coupons. You got me? Because this is I'm just as sick and tired as you are of hearing about this, folks. I really am. But it doesn't change the fact that we're not bitching about it. We're talking about what we can do to cope with it. And that's what's really important. Wash your hands. Keep the warm and hot fluids coming. Get plenty of fresh air. Just because you have to isolate doesn't mean you can't get fresh air. Unless you live in an apartment building, step out on the balcony, okay? As soon as this weather gets up to the way it's supposed to be, I'm going to be opening all the windows and airing out the house, right? So that we can get rid of some of the dead air and give in some of the fresh. Howie's staying to the garage or the basement. God love him. God love him. So, this is now I'm not sneezing now in the Benadryl. I took a Benadryl, Wen. I took a Benadryl. Because it's showing it as an allergy reaction because it's working. Because my eyes were itching and stuff too. So, this is a long rambling tea break. I'm not going to edit anything. I'm still going to do my live streams, but they are going to be shorter. Because you won't get one today, which will be Sunday when you see this, only because I have a lot of stuff to do. And just in case this isn't allergies, I want to be prepared. So I have to recan a lot of stuff to save it, and we'll go from there. But this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, keep calm, can it to save it, wash your hands, and drink constantly of warm or hot fluids. All right, whether it's soup, tea, or even water. All right, I love you guys. Stay calm, work in solution. We're all in it together, quite literally. All right, I love you guys. Take care. God bless. Mwah.